7 rappers that completely disappeared. We've all seen the videos about rappers that fell off. They have a hit song and then their career is on a downtrend until they eventually end up doing some sort of reality show, become a Twitch streamer, or even a kingpin. But what about the ones who didn't have the typical drawn-out career slump that most rappers who fall off end up having, but instead completely fell off the face of the earth? Like they basically ghosted rap music as a whole and everyone forgot about them as a result. What happens to those rappers? Well, we're gonna try and get to the bottom of that in this video. We're gonna discuss the rappers who, while they did fall off, they also completely disappeared and haven't been heard from or brought up in the longest. Before we start this video though, make sure you click the like button and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Now here's 7 rappers that completely disappeared. Number 7, BlocBoy JB. At one time it seemed like BlocBoy JB was on track to have a pretty long and successful rap career. He had co-signs from both Drake and Yo Gotti, a huge hit record, and a record deal with Interscope. He even had Shoot, his own popular dance to go along with the hit record. The dance which would later be added to Fortnite under the name Hype, with no credit given. He ended up suing Epic Games for stealing his dance, but that doesn't really have much to do with why we stopped hearing from the Memphis rapper so abruptly. Following the success of his song Look Alive, which featured Drake, he dropped a mixtape called Simmy, which sold around 11,000 copies in its first week. What was interesting is that Look Alive came out in February of 2018, his mixtape came out in May, and it wasn't until August that he ended up signing a record deal with Interscope. It seems like the little mistake that probably made him lose so much hype in so little time is the fact that he had a huge single but no record label behind him. Thus, he had no extra promotion. By the time Look Alive had came and went, people weren't mentioning BlocBoy JB anymore. So maybe this is an example of when signing a record label could have been a good idea. Number 6, Famous Dex. Famous Dex's career arc was a little different than someone like BlocBoy JB because it wasn't a meteoric rise to fame. Dex actually gradually got famous over a period of a couple years between 2015 and 2016, slowly building buzz until he was one of the hottest rappers in 2017. His career arguably peaked when he dropped Pick It Up, featuring A$AP Rocky, which reached number 54 on the Billboard Hot 100 and ended up going platinum. Dex had a lot of controversies throughout his career and was even blacklisted from the XXL freshman list. But what really made his buzz die down was his substance abuse issues, and as a result of that, his music quality going down. It didn't help that his music was the type of music that you get tired of pretty quickly. Like, you can only hear so many songs with his whoa ad-lib until you have to play someone else. That plus issues with your label, having domestic violence charges, being in and out of rehab, all while your music quality is on the decline, makes it pretty easy for people to forget about you and move on to the next new rapper. Number 5, Pop Hunna. Pop Hunna was one of the first rappers to become famous on TikTok, with his first taste of success being Single, a post-breakup song he released in 2019. But the song most people know him for is, of course, Corvette Corvette, which became the biggest song on TikTok in 2021, and even had Lil Uzi Vert hopping on the remix. But it seems like before he could even enjoy his newly found success, his career took a huge hit when it was revealed that he was a snitch. An unknown individual released paperwork from when a 14-year-old Pop Hunna was interrogated about a murder that he witnessed, giving the police information on who he suspected was responsible for the crime. Lil Uzi told Pop to take him off his song, and that he couldn't respect the fact that he had cooperated with police in the past, despite the fact that it happened when he was only 14 years old. Ever since then, we haven't heard anything about Pop Hunna's music, and he's posted some messages on social media that had fans concerned about his mental health. I can't blame him for being depressed about the situation. Imagine being on the brink of success and watching it get taken from you, all because you snitched when you were 14. That would be hard to come to terms with. I don't think all hope is lost for Pop, because in all reality, most music fans don't care about whether he snitched or not. So if he releases some more good music, he could definitely have a comeback. Number 4, Sheck Wes. Yes, Mo Bamba. I think that's a song that we probably blocked from our memory, but at one point it was inescapable. You heard it everywhere, on the radio, at parties, and it was responsible for tons of memes. Despite having such a recognizable hit record, being signed to Cactus Jack and Good Music under the umbrella of Interscope Records, Sheck Wes failed to keep the momentum of his career going. And really, it seems like his momentum slowed down because of the lack of musical output more than anything else. He had some controversy controversies here and there, but after dropping his debut album Mudboy, he went on a multiple-year hiatus from music. Other than his appearance on the Jack Boys collaborative album, he hasn't dropped much music since then. I mean, a couple singles here and there, but other than that, nothing. When you ghost your fanbase like that, they're going to forget you pretty quickly. But why did he go on hiatus, and why has he still not dropped a new project? Is it label issues? Well, actually in 2020, he started pursuing a basketball career and entered the NBA draft. Currently, he plays for Paris Basketball, a French basketball team. Number 3, Lil Pump. Out of any rapper on this list, Lil Pump arguably had the biggest peak and was the most famous, and to be honest, still is the most famous. We all saw how fast Pump blew up, and anyone could have predicted what happened next. He had probably the most stereotypical rapper come up and fall off. He got famous from his fun, gimmicky music, let the fame get to his head, signed a 360 deal, started abusing substances too much, then by the time he realized he was falling off, it was already too late. If you think about the last time you heard about Pump, it was probably when you heard about his support of Donald Trump's presidential campaign and appeared at one of his rallies. You don't hear about his music, and that's because, for the most part, he stopped dropping new music. It's like once his label realized his career was over, they didn't even want him releasing anything. Luckily enough for him, he probably has enough money to be set for life and probably still makes some income from his music. He did start releasing some more music recently, but honestly, I don't think a Lil Pump comeback is in the cards for 2022. Or the years to follow. Number 2, Designer. Future has had one of the best careers in rap music in the past 10 years. It seems like he hardly ever misses and isn't going to fall off anytime soon. But whatever happened to Future's clone? You know, the guy we all found out about in 2015 through his song Panda. The guy who ended up signing to Kanye West? It seems like I haven't heard about Designer in forever. To give him some credit though, you can't say he was a one-hit wonder because he followed Panda up with the song Timmy Turner. But how did he go from that to being one of the least discussed rappers from his XXL Freshman cover? To start, he hasn't dropped a project of any kind since 2018. And that wasn't even a full-fledged mixtape, just an EP. It seems like what hurt his career the most was his label issues, him calling out both Good Music and Def Jam Records at one point, and stating that Kanye West was crazy. But he was actually released from Def Jam and Good Music back in 2019 and has remained an independent artist since. And, for unknown reasons, still hasn't dropped a new project. Number 1, Ugly God. Ugly God was both one of the first SoundCloud rappers and one of the first meme rappers. Before there was someone like Lil Nas X who knew how to use their internet and memes to his advantage, there was Ugly God who even at one point ran his own Instagram meme page. Most people found out about him either in 2015 or 2016 with songs like I Beat My Meat, Booty from a Distance, and of course his biggest song, Water. The guy was somewhat of a pioneer in the way that he marketed his music, but at some point the buzz around his name faded out. His career started off with him making songs that were basically memes, but at a certain point he got tired of not showing any vulnerability in his music. That's when he dropped Bumps and Bruises. Bumps and Bruises was his debut album on which he tried to show his fans a different side of his artistry, but the album came out in August of 2019, which was well after his fame had peaked. The album ended up selling 14,000 copies in its first week, which isn't terrible, but it isn't great either. Since then, he hasn't dropped a single track on streaming platforms at all. Ugly God is another case of a rapper who just stopped dropping music, and people just forgot about him as a result. If you compare him to someone like Lil Yachty, yeah, his career might not be where it was in 2016, but he never stopped dropping music, and because of that, he's still pretty relevant. To be fair though, Yachty has a record label behind him. This past December, Ugly God took to Twitter to show off his Spotify Wrapped, and the fact that he had gotten 24 million streams on that platform alone, all while having not dropped any new music in years. That's pretty impressive, especially for an independent rapper. And he also stated that he has new music in the works. I think he has a good chance of having a comeback. What do you guys think? So do you agree that all these rappers pretty much fell off the face of the earth? Did we forget to add anybody onto this list? Let me know in the comments, and before you leave, don't forget to click the like button and subscribe to our channel.